Today, I'm going to give you guys my 9 bold predictions for the Texans 2019 season. And I'm doing 9 predictions because, honestly, I couldn't come up with a 10th one. Coming up with bold predictions is pretty difficult because you have to come up with something that's obviously bold, not likely to happen, but something that could still happen, if that makes sense. And, I used to do bold predictions throughout the season, but for whatever reason, some people thought that bold predictions meant predictions. So I just stopped doing them because, the type of comments I would get like, "What? You're predicting Watt to get 5 sacks? That's not going to happen." Like, it's a bold prediction. Like, these are for fun. Again, a prediction that could happen, but is highly unlikely. So let's just get started. And these are in no particular order, so yeah. Okay, number 1. The Texans will have the best special teams in the NFL. Now, as you guys recall, last year, for the first time pretty much ever, the Texans had a very good special teams. In the past, it has been terrible, and I feel like this upcoming year is going to continue to take a step forward and get even better than it was last year. I feel with the additions of players like Jalil Day, Cullen Gillespie, those guys like that, the improvement that I've been hearing from Peter Colombai, I feel like the special teams will improve not only in the cover game, like covering punts and covering kicks, but also in the return game. I feel like DeAndre Carter, he was so close to returning kicks and punts back for touchdowns on multiple occasions. Of course, early on, he did struggle with the fumbles, holding on to the ball, but he later on cleaned that up, so I feel like this upcoming season we'll have at least a couple of DeAndre Carter return touchdowns, and all around, I think the Texans will field the best special teams unit in the NFL. Now, my next bold prediction, the Texans will have the most annoying offense in the NFL. And what I mean by that is third down conversion rates. I feel like the Texans are going to slice and dice their way down the field against everyone. Why? Well, they got D-Hop, they got Will Fuller burning them deep, they got Kiki down the middle, short routes, they got the tight ends, Kahali Waring, Jordan Thomas. They have Lamar Miller, who's apparently more fit this year. They have Deontay Foreman coming back this year, who apparently, supposedly, looks way better out there. And, of course, you got Deshaun Watson, who's a dual-threat quarterback. Yes, he is a primary passer, but he can also run it. I mean, last year he had 500 rushing yards. So, Watson can get those tough yards, like if it's a passing play, everyone's trying to cover D-Hop, Will, and Kiki in the tight ends. And then what do you know? Deshaun Watson just scrambles for a first down on third down. And you guys know Bill O'Brien loves to run the football. So I feel like the Texans next year are going to be in a bunch of third down and short situations. I feel like the Texans are going to have a very time-consuming offense. I feel like they're going to be one of those teams that leads the league in time of possession. I feel like the Texans are going to be that team next year. You guys know, O'Brien loves to run the ball. Now we have Kiki, who eats up from underneath. You got D-Hop on the outside, just pretty much dominating everyone. Will Fuller as a deep threat. Like, they're just not going to have any answers for this Texans offense. It's going to be very difficult to stop, and, just having to watch them have the ball the whole time and watch the game clock just slowly tick down. That's demoralizing for a defense. And I feel like if you're a fan of another team playing the Texans offense, it's going to be very annoying. Now, staying on the topic of the Texans offense, the Texans receivers, and I'm talking about the primary receivers, D-Hop, Will Fuller, and Kiki QT, they will combine for over 3,000 yards. That's right, over 3,000 yards. Now, I'm not saying D-Hop's going to have 1,000, Fuller's going to have 1,000, Kiki's going to have 1,000. I'm saying all three of them combined are going to have 3,000. Now, I think this is possible. The only thing that is kind of setting it back is injuries. Can Will Fuller and Kiki stay healthy for majority of the season to where they can get these yards? D-Hop, we already know. The guy is durable. We already know he's good for at least 1,400 yards a year if he stays healthy with Deshaun Watson. And I'm pretty sure Will Fuller is a 1K yard receiver if he stays healthy for majority of the season. And I'm sure that even applies for Kiki as well. We saw how we used him last year. The guy was getting like 11 receptions against the Colts for like 100 yards. Like, the guy is efficient. He eats up in the underneath routes. And who knows how they'll use Kiki next year, man. Who knows? Now, my next bold prediction. The Texans will go on another long win streak. Now, I'm not saying, they're going to win 3 or 4 games in a row. Now, I'm saying 6+ games. I think the end of the Texans' schedule is very favorable. I think it's easy. Yes, we do play the Patriots there at the end, but I still think the Texans will take care of the Patriots this year. I think this is the year the Texans will finally beat the Patriots, and towards the end of the season, that's where the win streak will come. I mean, the last 3 games are Titans, Buccaneers, Titans, and that's pretty easy in my opinion. So I think the Texans will go on another long win streak, and 6+ games is what I mean by a long win streak. Now, my next bold prediction, this one's pretty bold, and I know some people are going to be like, there's no way that happens. And that's why it's a bold prediction. The Texans allow less than 40 sacks. Not 40, less than 40, meaning, 39, 38, or anything below that. And if you count, say the Texans allow 39 sacks. Yes, that's on the high end still in the NFL, but going from 63 sacks to 49 sacks, that's huge. That's a difference of 24 sacks. And although I do think the O-line will get better, I think majority of the difference is going to be on Deshaun Watson. If you guys recall last year, a lot of the sacks were on Deshaun Watson. I think the addition of Carl Smith, the quarterback coach that we got from Seattle, I think he's going to teach Deshaun Watson some things. He's going to teach him how to get rid of the ball quicker, thus bringing the sack total number down. Now, the next bold prediction I have is the Texans will send 8 players to the Pro Bowl. And those players include J.J. Watt, of course, DeAndre Hopkins, of course, Jadeveon Clowney, of course, Deshaun Watson, of course, Benardrick McKinney. I know he made it last year, but if you look at the linebackers in the NFL, you'll really only have like 2 elite ones, Luke Kuechly and Bobby Wagner, and those guys are both in the NFC, and I feel like McKinney kind of low-key made a name for himself, and I feel like McKinney's going to be one of those guys that will consistently make the Pro Bowl from now on, just because some people know who he is now, because he made the Pro Bowl last year, so he's going to get voted in again this year, regardless if Zach Cunningham is better than him, because I do think Zach Cunningham is better than him. And, after that, we got Justin Reed, Will Fuller, and the last guy, Kaimi Fairbairn. I feel like last year, Fairbairn should have made it in. I feel like he's one of the better kickers in the NFL. And I feel like fantasy football is going to be the reason Fairbairn makes the Pro Bowl. Because let's be honest, nobody cares about kickers. But you know who cares about kickers? People that play fantasy football, and that's a good majority of NFL fans. A good majority of them play fantasy football. They're going to recognize the name Kaimi Fairbairn. Oh, this guy scores a bunch of points in fantasy football, so they're going to vote for him. Now, my next bold prediction is Deontay Foreman and Lamar Miller will have 2,000 yards from scrimmage combined. So it don't mean just rushing yards. I'm not saying Lamar Miller is going to get 1,000 rushing yards and then Foreman's going to get 1,000 as well. I'm saying rushing and receiving yards. Now, I feel like this upcoming season, Foreman and Lamar Miller are going to split carries. Hopefully, by the end of the year, Foreman completely takes over, but I feel like early on, they're going to split carries, and I think they're both going to do a good job. And now for my last bold prediction. Jadeveon Clowney will win Defensive Player of the Year. And I feel like this will be the most Texans thing possible to happen. Because look at it this way, man. Like, you know, awesome. Clowney wins Defensive Player of the Year. Awesome. But look at it this way. Clowney is currently franchise tagged. Clowney currently doesn't have a long-term contract. If Clowney goes into the season on the franchise tag and he goes and win Defensive Player of the Year, Clowney is going to get paid way more than he initially would have been paid if the Texans would have paid him, you know, I don't know, today. So, I feel like that would be like the most Texans thing to happen ever. And I feel like Clowney can win Defensive Player of the Year because Clowney's still improving. He's still young. Clowney is currently 26 years old this season. And if I remember correctly, that's the same age Khalil Mack was when he won his first Defensive Player of the Year. I also believe Aaron Donald was 26 when he won his first Defensive Player of the Year. So, hey, who knows? Maybe Clowney wins Defensive Player of the Year this year. Anyways, though, that's all I have for you guys for today. You know, just a little fun video. So, be sure to comment down below any of your own bold predictions for the season. And, yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.